Our headlines today: anger and dismay for thousands of staff at the police service of Northern Ireland as the senior officers and politicians meet to discuss how their names and workplaces were published online.
An investigation begins into the deaths of 41 migrants in the Mediterranean Sea after a boat capsized sailing from North Africa.
The night is gone, dancing down.
Robbie Robertson, guitarist and songwriter for the band, dies at the age of 80.
Good morning. Anthony Joshua says boxing has a doping problem. It's after his original opponent for this Saturday night's fight, Dillian Whyte, had to withdraw after failing a voluntary drugs test.
And after all that wet weather we've been having, now many people are deciding to dodge the rain by booking a last-minute holiday somewhere hot.
I'm in Cheshire, where there is a beautiful sunrise this morning, but bookings at campsites like this are down because of that bad weather. We're going to be hanging out with the people who have braved the weather and are staying here no matter what, but my goodness, they're looking for some good news from Carol. Can she deliver?
And there will be some good news today, Jane, because we're looking at a dry, sunny and warm day for most of us. There'll be some showers coming in later on in the day to the west, and that leads us into more of an unsettled period with sunshine and showers for the ensuing few days.
The homeware retailer Wilko has suspended home deliveries as it tries to find a rescue deal to avoid collapse. The company told online customers that it's unable to deliver any orders, instead instructing shoppers to use its click and collect service or to look for items in store. Wilko has around 400 shops and 12,000 employees. Patients waiting for treatment could skip queues in hospital if they're willing to travel to other parts of England for private or NHS care. The plans announced by NHS England are aimed at reducing the backlog and will see patients matched with availability for cancer and diagnostic checks and outpatient appointments.
A special edition 50p coin has been created to mark the coronation of King Charles. Remember that, back in May?
5 million are going to be issued. The design is based on Westminster Abbey, where the coronation, of course, took place. There are currently 27 billion coins in circulation from the Queen's reign. So we'll have another 5 million with King Charles.
And yet people seem to be using cash less frequently these. Even I was never used my card. I always used cash.
Really?
Yeah, but because of the pandemic and the way all our behaviour's changed, now it's the other way around.
Just don't need it. I very rarely use coins.
No.
Very rarely use coins.
Well,
Unless I'm given the bill for a coffee with Carol, which happens so often.
Unless you buy Carol a drink.
Happens so... Actually, you bought yesterday, I will admit it. Morning to you.
Good morning, both. And I used a card as well. I'm like Roger, I hardly ever carry cash, or like the Queen used to be. Good morning, everybody.
The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has called for those responsible for disorder on Oxford Street in London to be hunted down and jailed. 9 people were arrested last night after posts on the social media platform TikTok appeared to encourage group shoplifting. Look at today's papers. The Telegraph is reporting that up to a third of Rishi Sunak's cabinet will ask him to campaign for leaving the European Convention on Human Rights at the next general election if flights to Rwanda for migrants are blocked by the courts.
The Guardian says that 1 in 3 students starting university this year might opt to live at home. The paper is quoting research that found that rising costs and family needs were affecting the COVID generation of school leavers.
Daily Mail reports on what it calls a mortgage price war after several high-profile lenders cut their rates. The paper also carries an image of Prince Harry, who it says has had his HRH title removed from the royal family's website. So we're talking a lot about the weather today.
Yeah.
Today's a good day if you like sunshine.
Day.
If you like today and tomorrow, yeah?
Little sniff of summer.
I only pay close attention to Carol when the weather's good. If it's bad, I ignore it. Anyway, and we're out and about on campsites as well because so many people are hoping for good rain. So how do you think seal pups have been affected by the weather?
You would imagine that the wet weather would be good for them, but...
Well... So when seal pups molt, they need quite a lot of energy to grow their winter fur, to grow their next fur. And because the weather's been so dull and boring, and that's the kind of weather you need, they've been getting confused.
OK.
So they've been resting in July, and so their new fur's coming through.
Right.
Right? So, and a curator, it is around in the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, and they're saying they think a few of the seals might be confused about the weather. They've had to increase the blood supply to the skin, which is what happens when the weather's really dull.
Cold, yeah.
So they're just resting. The other thing that's happening as well is the pup season has come earlier. So they're seeing a change in the Cornish wild grey seals, and some are going to the pup hospital as early as August. Coming in. So it's a direct sign, they say, that our seasons are getting earlier. They're just confused. But we're going to try to iron out some of that confusion today.
They're not the only ones.
No.
Carol's about the only one who isn't confused by it all.
Very rare that she's confused.
Front pages for the first time this Thursday. The Belfast Telegraph leads on the PSNI's Chief Constable about to attend that emergency meeting of the Northern Ireland Policing Board following 2 major data breaches. The Eye understands that tents bought by the Home Secretary to house thousands of asylum seekers could be put up at RAF Wethersfield in Essex. Front of the Daily Express looks at the government's migration policies with the headline "Threat to Quit Rights Treaty if Rwanda blocks again." Similar story on the front of the Telegraph, reporting a third of cabinet members want human rights changes to be at the heart of the Tory election campaign. According to The Times, the head of the Metropolitan Police wants to give chief constables the power to sack rogue officers. The Mail asks, have we finally turned corner on mortgage misery? Guardian reports that 1 in 3 school leavers may choose to study locally, thanks to being part of the so-called COVID generation. The Metro reports on comedian and presenter Hardeep Singh Kohli being arrested and charged with non-recent sexual offences. According to the FT, Chinese technology firms are competing to buy $5 billion worth of high-performance computer chips they believe will help them get ahead of the curve on AI. The Sun pictures a model who posed for photos in a bikini near Windsor Castle. And the Star looks at the things we actually do when our bosses think we are working from home. The mind boggles. Right, if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, then do scan that QR code you can see right now.